Hello everyone, Soberoni of G&A Reviews here with a brand new video, and this time we'll be taking a look at command codes. Now I have been wanting to do a video on command codes for quite a while on this channel, but I just haven't had the time. But with so many amazing command codes coming out next year and in 2022 for FGO NA, I figured now is the perfect time to take a look at them. And if you aren't familiar with what command codes are, they're basically little bonuses that you can attach to individual servant command cards that give them extra effects, like applying poison damage to enemies or a bit of extra crit damage. Most of the command codes are inconsequential, however there are a small select few that can drastically alter a servant's gameplay. And those are going to be the command codes we're taking a look at today. So without further ado, let's take a look at the top upcoming command codes that you should be looking forward to in FGO NA. First up, we have Maiden of Orleans, and this command code recovers 1000 HP whenever you're attacking with the card that this command code is attached to. However, this effect can only be activated once every 3 turns, and we will be receiving this command code for next year's Christmas event in 2021. Now obviously this is a very defensively focused command code, and it does have that restriction of only being activated once every 3 turns. However, even with that drawback, a 1000 HP heal is pretty good, especially when it comes for free at no cost, and that makes this command code very strong on stallers and tanks like George, Mosh, and Tamamo. But just like the artwork on the command code suggests, it is ideally made for rulers. Because the ruler class takes half damage from most other enemies, that makes healing especially effective on them. So if you have yourself a Jean or Martha ruler, or if you get lucky enough to pull a Shi Huangdi, this can be a very powerful defensive command code that will help keep them around even longer. And if you want to go full healing meme, you can even pair them up with Media Lily and give them that bridal training craft essence that we got from Saber Wars to unleash your unlimited healing works. If defense isn't your thing, how about something a bit more offensive like Majin-Sun? This command code increases the critical star absorption rate of the engraved card by 100%, and it also increases that card's crit damage by 10%. And we'll be receiving this command code in about 2 years during Guda Guda 5 in October of 2022, so it is a bit far away. The main benefit of this command code is to really make your crit damage dealers much more consistent, and to that effect it works phenomenally well on crit sabers, foreigners, and lancers who may not have a very reliable means of gathering crit stars. Servants like MHXX, Karna, or even Rama. As for which command card you should attach this command code to, you can either attach it to your buster cards if you want a bit more damage, or you can attach it to arts cards if you favor NP gain. But in any case, you should aim for this command code for the art alone because it is absolutely beautiful. I would kill for a wall scroll that had this command code's artwork on it. Next up, we have not 1, not 2, but 3 command codes that you should be on the lookout for because they all share the same general effect. And those command codes are Jin's Lamp, Gentleman with the Brilliant Goatee, and True Crimson Immortal Maiden. These command codes will be releasing for Valentine's Day 2022, Saber Wars 2, and Summer 2022 respectively. And although these command codes do have slight differences, they all share the same basic effect, which is that they inflict burn on enemies. And being able to inflict burn on enemies with your command cards is very strong for one particular servant, and that servant is Yang. Yang is a foreigner class servant that we'll be receiving in FGO NA for the New Year's 2022 gacha. And the reason why burn is so effective on her is because her Noble Phantasm deals a lot of extra bonus damage against burned enemies. But unfortunately, Yang herself doesn't have a reliable means of inflicting burn on enemies within her own kit. So if you can give her command cards the ability to inflict burn on enemies, her Noble Phantasm actually becomes the strongest NP among all the foreigner class servants. So if you're planning on rolling for Yang, these 3 command codes are a must, and I highly recommend saving them until you get her. From one set of command codes to another, next up we have 3 more command codes that share the same powerful effect. Gakyo no Fude, Phantasmal Horse, and Blades of Nitendoraku. These command codes will be releasing for Summer 2021, Christmas 2021, and April 2022 respectively. And all 3 of them share the same basic effect, of increasing your crit damage of the engraved card by 20%. However, they do differ on which cards they can be equipped to. Gakyo no Ofude can only be attached to arts cards, Phantasmal Horse can only be attached to quick cards, and Blades of Nitendoraku can only be attached to buster cards. That said though, a 20% buff to crit damage on your cards is pretty strong, especially if that servant already has a crit buff of their own. They can allow your main crit DPS to hit a whole lot harder, especially on servants like Rama, Saberlot, or Ku Prototype. So depending on what kind of crit team you're running and who your main crit servant is, you should really look into using one of these command codes. Keeping our crit theme going, next up we have the Star Eradicating Holy Sword. This command code increases critical damage against Saber enemies by 25%, and we'll be getting it for Valentine's Day 2021, which is pretty close. Now, I don't think I need to elaborate too much on why this is such an amazing command code for Archer class servants, but 25% extra crit damage is nothing to sneeze at, especially if you're an Archer and you already have class advantage against Sabers. Keep in mind the fact that Archers have much higher star weight than the average servant, which means that they're going to crit a lot more often. So if you equip this command code to the buster card of a very high damage crit Archer like Gil, Emiya, Nobu, or Billy, they'll be able to melt sabers even faster than they normally do. Another command code that's going to be helpful for countering a very specific class is Nun of a Merciful Gaze. This command code gives you 20% bonus damage against lawful alignment enemies and a further 20% bonus damage against ruler enemies. And we'll be getting it during the Kama event in March 2021. Naturally, this is a very strong anti-ruler command code. It helps that almost all rulers have a lawful alignment, which means that you'll be doing 40% bonus damage against most ruler enemies. But even putting aside how strong this command code is against ruler class enemies, this also makes for a very strong anti-servant command code because most servants fall under the lawful alignment. So in general, this is going to be a strong command code for any kind of boss fight against a servant, let alone against rulers. I highly recommend giving this to your strongest Avenger like Jolter or Lobo, or even giving it to Kiara if you have her. But if you don't have any of those servants, you can also give this to your strongest boss killer like Gil or Herc, and you should also be putting it on their buster cards to maximize that damage. And finally, the last command code that you should be on the lookout for is Mistress of the Heavens, which will be releasing during Saber Wars 2 in October of 2021. And this command code simply increases the crit damage of your buster card by 25%. Now that may not seem too exciting, but 25% extra crit damage is the largest crit modifier we have for a command code, and keep in mind that we do have other command codes like the aforementioned Blades of Nitendoraku, which increase your buster crit by 20%. So when used in combination with the other bonus crit damage command codes, you can set up a servant to be a crit machine. In fact, if you were to combine this command code with Majin-Sun, Blades of Nitendoraku, and Star Eradicating Holy Sword, and you put them all on a crit archer, that archer would do some insane crit damage. So for that reason, I do think this is one of the best command codes to use in combination with the other crit command codes, and it can significantly buff your buster crit servants like Rama, Raiko, Nobu, Jolter, and Gil. And those are just some of my recommendations for which command codes that you should be keeping an eye out for in the future, but I'm interested in seeing what you guys think. Let me know in the comments down below. But if this video did help you and you enjoyed it, make sure you click that like button and subscribe so you can catch all my videos as they go up. I will be doing spotlights for all of the upcoming Lost Belt 3 servants, so keep an eye out for those. And if you haven't already, do follow us on Twitter, follow us on Twitch, and join the party over on our Discord, all of which are linked in the description down below. And until next time, this is Soberoni, signing out. Later.